Duct cleaning should be thought of as a big tree. What we do is collect the debris into the trunk line by blowing through the grills, through the branches, and pushing all debris into the trunks. What you're viewing now is velocity, air pushing debris towards a 8-inch collection hole. Velocity is more important than vacuum. Vacuum is just there to create negative pressure. Our truck-mounted systems can create upwards of 12,000 CFM. Our pinpoint accuracy with high air pressure fluctuates between about 160 to 190 pounds. Using 3 types of air tools, the air probe, which is pinpoint, the snake, which goes forward but exhausts behind it, and then the forward snake, which goes forward and pushes the air forward. What's happening here is the push with the probe. The probe is a 1/4-inch piece of brake line with a quick-release air nozzle on the end. The brake in debris flying here indicates that we are moving from branch to branch, blowing into the trunk lines. Sometimes this pause also is a result of air pressure going below 160 pounds, and we're waiting for it to rise back up so we can create the proper velocity. Again, it's velocity, not vacuum. Vacuum is important, but velocity is primary. As you can see along the edges, there is some debris remaining on the trunk lines. This is not unusual. It's not necessary, nor can you get 100% removal. But it is important to get what you can, and that is done with also manual brushing, coupled with velocity, and your vacuuming with negative pressure. Does an extremely good job, as you can see. This is sawdust, plaster, wood chips, all cellulose, dust, nails. It is a breeding ground for mold. A typical job will run from 2.5 to 3 hours. Roughly a half an hour to 40 minutes for setup, another half an hour to 40 minutes for breakdown. The technician in the basement places the holes appropriately where he feels he can tell where the dirt is. That's done by hitting the trunk lines, and also when he's drilling, he can tell what's coming out through the hole. If he finds a lot of dirt, he'll drill more holes. If he finds fewer dirt, he may space the holes between themselves wider and then utilize the snake, which has a reach of up to 15 to 20 feet. This trunk line was a 36-inch wide trunk line. The velocity at this point on the truck was at about 185 PSI. I know that, having been on that job. What we're looking at here is a slab. The returns trunk lines are probably in the attic. The slabs, the supplies in the slabs usually are dirtier. It's because they have high moisture content, are subject to floods, and therefore are harder to clean, because when the water recedes, you do get a residue, a skin of dirt that dries on it, and you want to remove that. Typically, a 190-pound pressure snake going through is enough to dislodge it. If not, we do have manual brushes that you can put in there. But again, slabs leak moisture as well as sand. these we really, they are tough to clean. It's hard to keep them up because they have a source. They're constantly leaking. What you see here is a probe. At that point, we have approximately 180 psi of air, which is equivalent to taking a brush with not much fulcrum and dragging it across and rubbing it. The brief pauses that you see here is the technician moving from the farthest bedroom and now coming to the next step closer, and now he'll slip in the snake and draw back more. The purpose is you start at your furthest point and you bring it towards your vacuum. If we find a lot of debris in a slab, for example, we just keep going down with the snake as you see here, and we keep bringing back debris, sand specifically. You may have a collapsed duct line. That may warrant plugging it with cement and then putting your supplies in the attic where your returns are probably at. This is Sanit-Air's ultra germicidal air probe sanitizer, the ultimate in 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year protection. Great for allergy people, great for crawl spaces, great for destroying mold, outstanding for controlling bacteria. An absolute must for source contaminated areas. This wavelength is 253.7 on the C band. No ozone is produced.